Rise and shine. It's time to get the day started with the morning show of record for the Homestead community. It is the Farm2Table Direct Show Morning Edition. Today's show, proud to be an American. Let's get started, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. How are we all doing today? How are we all doing? Oh, my goodness. There we go. Make sure everybody can see it. Good morning to my morning crew. Nope, it's real Ryan, not Memorex. I am live. Uh, Getting this morning started. And I'll have to say good morning to all my morning crew. Good morning, Rebecca Touch Beyond, Wild Huckleberry, Lone Cross Scotty. See, there we go. Yep, that's everybody's in. I think so. Well, we'll have more. Good morning, David Lacey. Good morning to see you. Robbie and Scotty and everybody. Glad to see you all in. It is a good Monday morning. I hope you all had a great weekend. I know I'm super grateful for the weather warm up, the warmer temperatures outside, and uh, got a few little places where the snow ice hasn't melted off, but most of it's gone now. We got the mud, but still grateful for the warmer temperatures, and pray that you're all doing well this morning. But speaking of weather, let's go check in with Dyer Family Farm for the Redneck Weather Report.
Well, good morning, Rednecks. It is 36 degrees, February the 24th, 2025. Got a 3-mile-an-hour south-southeast wind, making it feel like it's 30 degrees. Get this, y'all. We gonna get to 70 today. God bless. We'll see you again tomorrow.
All right. Well, that is some beautiful weather. I'm certainly glad to see that. I'm looking forward to enjoying it. I told my coworkers the other day it's going to feel like a virtual heat spell uh, coming in after those single digit temperatures we had. But hey, good deal. Good morning, bro. Wasn't sure if I'd see you up this early or not, but here we go. Good morning, Joy Bartlett. Glad to see you in, and glad to see everybody jumping in this morning early. Let's get this going. All right. Let's kick it off with today's reality smackdown. Over the weekend, a lot of things happened. Gunman takes hostage at Pennsylvania hospital. Several wounded, one officer killed. Guy went into the ICU. Anyway, bad deal. President Trump says he's considering merging the U.S. Postal Service with the Commerce Department. That ought to be an interesting deal. They say that may go ahead and push the Postal Service straight to privatization, but they've been operating in the red for decades, and I think that's about time something gets done. I appreciate the cheap postage, the 40 something, whatever 50, whatever the stamp costs these days. And I know it's convenient. We do a lot of shipping through the post office ourselves, but at the same token, it's operating at a serious deficit. If it wasn't for government subsidies, they would have been bankrupt years ago. Uh, Anyway, Trump to name new FBI Director Kash Patel as the ATF head. So temporary acting ATF head, I guess. Still good. But in the news, he's also put up named fellow podcaster, commentator, political commentator, former Secret Service agent, former new NYPD uh, officer, Dan Bongino, to be the assistant or the deputy director of the FBI. So that was an exciting thing. A little back up on the weather there. Let's say, go. That wasn't the one I was after. It moved on me. Robbie says 35 there in southeast Arkansas with a dense fog advisory. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to have how much of that we're going to have move in up here. That temperatures tend to change, but we'll see. Oh, let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Where was we at? Oh, yeah. 1923. The Yellowstone prequel launched its second season last night. Much anticipated. Uh, Season two, after all the writer's strike and everything. Let's see. And Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said that he would immediately resign as president in exchange for his country gaining NATO membership. Boo. Anyway, let's see. Israel has put the release of Palestinian prisoners on definite hold until Hamas can guarantee the next hostage release will be without the humiliating ceremonies. I'm not sure what went there. I didn't see it, but anyway. And widespread outage has erupted in Bolivia over the details of contracts officials signed with Chinese and Russian companies to exploit the country's vast lithium reserves. So, apparently, the wild headlines are going on around the world. So that was your today. That was today's reality smackdown for Monday. And for this day in history, February 24th, here we go. 1863. Arizona Territory created. Well, happy birthday, Arizona. 1868, first U.S. parade with floats was a Mardi Gras parade in Mobile, Alabama. Interesting. 1921, first transcontinental flight in 24 hours flying time arrives in Florida. I'm glad things have gotten faster since then. 1942, folks. This was a little piece of history that gets buried in the headlines, buried in everything, and I found it quite interesting. 1942, the Battle of Los Angeles. Any of y'all ever heard of the Battle of Los Angeles? Anyway, apparently 1942, the Battle of Los Angeles takes place, a series of anti-aircraft engagements over the city in response to a rumored but false Japanese attack. It would last until the morning of the following day. Sounds eerily familiar to a War of the Worlds kind of thing. I don't know. Strange, but I guess they were just shooting at things in the sky. I don't know. But either way, I did not know we had the Battle of Los Angeles. Very interesting. 1980, the U.S. hockey team clinches gold medal with a 4-2 win over Finland, the Lake Placid Winter Olympic Games, which came after the 4-3 Miracle on Ice victory against the favorite Soviet Union. Everybody, a lot of us old enough to remember the Miracle on Ice. We didn't really get to watch it. It was all delayed, but anyway. A lot of stuff been done. Movie made sense about it and everything. Anyway, fast forward, 1991, the Gulf War. U.S.-led forces began Operation Desert Sabre, a ground invasion of southern Iraq and Iraqi-occupied Kuwait. Yes, indeed. 2008, Fidel Castro retires as the president of Cuba due to ill health after nearly 50 years. I don't know if it got any better, but there you go. 2011, the final launch of the Space Shuttle Discovery. It's near the end of the Space Shuttle mission. Anyway, done this day, 2020, a memorial service for NBA star Kobe Bryant was held at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. It's a tragic passing during 2020, late 2019, early 2020. Anyway, 2022, when we fast forward, Russian leader Vladimir Putin announces the start of a 3-day special military operation in Ukraine to demilitarize the country. Moments before Russia launched a full-scale, pre-dawn, and unprovoked invasion of land, blah, blah, blah. That's their thing. Just go show you. It's been 2 years already we've been dealing with this Ukraine business. Anyway, and that 3-day war, a 3-day special military operation ain't ended. But anyway, a lot of discussion could be happening right there in that whole thing about Russia and what's the word I'm looking for? Ukraine. Yeah, that whole deal. Anyway, we'll see. Hopefully that gets remedied very soon. Anyway, we are going to jump into our topic for the day, and I titled that "Proud to be an American?" question mark. And so here we go. Lee Greenwood's iconic song, "I'm Proud to be an American," evokes strong feelings in many people, and I'm no exception. I still think the Star Spangled Banner is a beautiful poem. I still believe in the founding principles of our country. The U.S. Constitution is the greatest written document outlining the liberties of a free society. It's only the second to the Holy Bible to me. I still believe that the American flag should be honored and respected. However, I am a student of history, and I recognize that many things about our beloved country are not that great. Good morning, Dyer Family Farm. I also don't think it's fair to look back on history through the moral eyes of time. As they say, hindsight is 2020. We could look back on the history of our country and our government and see many things that were not, how shall we say, flattering and were tragic and were poorly handled. And Those things can, we can look back, and that's what we've seen the last several years, particularly with the DEI and the wokeism and things of that nature, is trying to correct history through the eyes of time and through the eyes of modern view, if you will, and hindsight. I am the first to realize that we have a lot of issues. However, I have lived overseas, and I've been to many third world countries, and it is through this lens that I know that the U.S. is still the greatest thing going. Our country is going through a lot of changes right now. Some even might say a renaissance. However, are they all good changes? Are they all necessary changes? Now, I'm not a barking seal for President Trump or any other elected official. I look at government at all levels with a certain degree of mistrust. And I do not like the idea of too much power being concentrated in any one office or branch. The separation of powers exists for a reason. Checks and balances matter. However, our legislative branch has given its responsibilities over to unelected bureaucrats and alphabet agencies. They've been highly ineffective, for decades. They play to the tune of donors, lobbyists, and other power players. And it doesn't matter which party you're talking about, Republican or Democrat. That is the same. Might even say controlled opposition is something Keith and I were talking about the other day. They let us believe certain things. But the reality is that the grift and the bribery and the money blows to both parties. So when that happens, and we have what we just voted out of office for the last 4 years, the response tends to be a sledgehammer or wrecking ball approach. The danger is that the pendulum can swing too far the other way. We go so far away from it. And this next part, I really just chaps my tail end. But anyway, here we go. I've noticed that there are people on the Trump train who will absolutely roast anyone who disagrees or questions what President Trump is doing. Even if someone just asks an honest question, or perhaps a senator or representative doesn't support a particular nominee, the knives come out at the slightest indication you're not on board with this current shift. We are in danger, folks, listen to me, we are in danger of becoming the very people we have been railing against for the last several years. And that's a dangerous thing. Be a free thinker. Be willing to disagree, but be prepared to defend yourself and recognize that you may be standing alone. The truth is not a very popular thing. When people say they want the truth, what most really want is the truth they agree with. Several years ago, there was a movie called An American President. I think I got that title right. Anyway, Michael Douglas played the president, and he was a Democrat. And there was a line from that movie that has stuck with me ever since. And it goes a little something like this. You want to talk about free speech? Defend the right of a person to shout from the street corner something you would spend your entire life fighting against. Now, I might have butchered that, but the point is the same. We have to be able to express thought. We have to be able to have free speech. We have to be able to speak out against the government, our elected officials. We have to be able to have our own opinion about those things. We have to be able to have the freedom of speech to challenge the status quo. We have to have those things. It is the basis. It is one of the number ones. That's why it is right there in the very beginning. That's why it's the First Amendment to the Constitution. It's free speech, freedom of the press, right? Freedom of assembly, freedom of religion. Right? That's why those things are there. I spent a career in the military, sworn to defend those rights. But it really wasn't until I started speaking out about what I saw that I realized many people, they just don't really want to hear free speech. Like I said, they want to hear what they agree with and whatever particular party they side with. Civil discourse, the ability to have a discussion, the ability to disagree with each other should be there. You know, we're losing that in civilization, thanks, I think, in part largely to social media, keyboard commandos. People unwilling to stand face to face or even behind a video camera and put their name on something, to stand for something more than themselves, to believe in ideas, to believe in a better way of doing things, that we can have that we can have a discussion, be on opposite sides of an issue, and still walk away civilized, still have that discussion, and it not become hate, not be labeled as a hater, not be labeled as racist or any other stereotype that happens to be out there. I think we should have that. If we don't, we're in trouble. And for the last several years, we've not been able to do that without fear of repercussion. And I am hopeful that as the pendulum swings and as things are heading in the direction they are, that free speech is once again welcome. The town square is once again open to share thought, to share idea, and perhaps even to disagree with something. Now, I will have to admit, I agree with the vast majority of what's going on with the appointees to these different agencies, with the direction they're going with efficiency and Doge, with the way they are trying to kind of, if you will, clean up the waste. But I do take a cautious approach. I do take a cautious tone to what things are going on. Not because I don't think corruption is there, not that I don't think we should get rid of it, but because, again, I worry that the pendulum swings too far. I worry that too much power, too much authority could be vested in one branch of government. Now, I agree. Legislators have not done their job. We now have overreaching judicial branch. We have activist judges legislating from the bench along party lines and along ideological lines versus what the Constitution says and versus what the law says. So, with that being said, caution, cautiously optimistic. Now, all this to say, I'm very proud to be an American. We have many problems, but I will stand proudly to salute the flag. I will stand for the anthem. I kneel for the fallen, and I will fight to the death to defend this country that has given so much to me. If you don't love it, leave it. And in the words of Merle Haggard, if you're running down my country, Hoss, you're walking on the fighting side of me. And it is my prayer that God blesses the United States again. Now, I know that was my little tirade. I've been hearing things all weekend. I've been reading things throughout for the last month, and watching what's been happening. And, like I said, happy about a lot of things, disappointed in others. And some of the behavior from not so much in our party, and I say in the party, but, elected officials, but definitely in a lot of the other talkers, the other people who have social media, the other people who put things out. And, like I said, just excoriating if somebody disagrees with them. I'm going to go over to chat. This is y'all's time to comment. I've kind of put that out there. Scott Robbie says, immediately, it's easier to listen to what you agree with. We don't really want to listen to what we don't agree with. But because I don't agree with someone doesn't mean I hate them. Absolutely. And that is the essence of that we should be able to disagree or have discourse. And, that's Keith says, that'll preach, bro. I hope so. That is, I'm like I said, I'm not against what's going, I understand the why of what's going on and what has to happen as far as some of the course corrections that are happening. But I have concern, and I understand a lot of people's fear with what happened, what is perceived to have, what did happen in 2020. This is Trump's by the current laws. This is Trump's second term. There was even some rumbles. There was a bill introduced to try to figure out a way that he could have a third term. And I read through it, and it actually, it made sense on a legal thing. They covered their bases. But yet at the same time, I stand in support of term limits for congressmen and representatives, for senators and representatives. So I don't want to backtrack against that and go against a term limit, that we have term limits for the president for a reason. No, I would dare say I don't think any of us were alive. There may be somebody out there listening alive when FDR, when Franklin Roosevelt was the president of the United States. That man was elected to 4 terms. Now, he passed away at the beginning of his 4th term. So he didn't complete it, but he was elected to a fourth term, and it was after that that the then Republican Congress and was signed in that they passed the term limits for the president to 2 terms. So here we've been ever since. So I don't want to back away from that. I think that we do need term limits for our senators and congressmen. Some of them have been up there entirely too long. They've amassed too much power, and too much of that going on, and it has become so divided. That we the people are no longer represented. I also think that when they took the appointment of senators away from the state government, away from the governor and the legislature of a state, and put it out into the vote, that they messed up, and that we should still have that. That's a whole other history lesson that I don't. Civics lesson, I should say, that I don't want to get into too much today. But there was a time, the representatives in the districts were voted to represent the people of the district, and the senators were appointed by the state legislature to represent the interest of the state in the federal government. Now, they said they did that because there was cronyism, corruption, whatever, at the state level, and that they felt it should be at the vote of the people. Well, what they were really doing was taking power away from the state government to affect things in Washington, D.C., and it was in my opinion, a colossal mistake, and something that should be reversed. But that's a different story. So with that, I just, what was on my heart when I sat down last night over this weekend as I began to try to think of a topic for today was, that there's a lot of things going on in this country that I don't agree with have went on in this country in the past, in recent history. I do understand that, how should we say, we're not exactly real popular around the world. And there's reasons for that. And that's a whole different bag, if you will, if you wanted to get into that, of why we're not popular around the U.S. I will say good morning to my nephew, Shane Cody. He's up and with us. He always calls me the Walter Cronkite of the Homestead Show. I don't know. Man, you're making now, are you calling me old, dude? I mean, is that what it is? I don't know. No, thanks, Cody. I appreciate it. But it's just, I'm proud of where I'm from, and I'm proud of this country, and I'm proud of what what we've stood for as a people, even if our government screws it up. But anyway, so take that, chew on it for the day, but be willing to have civil discourse with people. Be willing to sit down and have conversations with people that you disagree with, and be willing to defend your position. Be smart about it, and investigate headlines, and do your due diligence as someone as a free thinker. But we need to hold on preciously to the time that we can voice opinion without fear of repercussion. Rob, yes, that was having the outline. Robbie says I can understand why we didn't see much of you at Homestead Sunday yesterday. That took a lot of thought. Yeah, it was. That was kind of it. Yesterday was my only day off, so that's always a challenge. But yeah, I had the framework. Excuse me, I had the framework. The other stuff of day in history and everything else. I had all that done. That doesn't take. That's just clicking. It takes a little time, but yeah, that took thought, and it took time, and figuring out how to articulate it in a way that made sense, and didn't have me just rambling off chasing ghosts, chasing rabbits. But anyway, but thank you for that. And hey, listen, chew on that, guys. And just, let's remember, just goes to show you what we vote for and what we tolerate matters. But anyway, so with that, yes, I am proud to be an American. So let's move on. Let's get on to tip of the day. And this is for the guys and the ladies. Repeat after me. Your spouse is not the enemy. You hear that? Your spouse is not the enemy. They are your partner in crime and your best friend. At least that's the way it should be. And so there is your tip of the day. I mean, remember that's who's going to come bail me out of jail, right? That's who I got to go bail out of jail. No, that is the partner in crime, because if they're really your partner in crime, they're going to be there with you. But no, it's that's what we always say about our friends. If they're your friends, they're there with you. Anyway, just a little humor with it this morning, but a little bit of decent advice. Um, all right, let's transition on into upcoming events. This Saturday, March 1st, the Boston Mountain Homesteading Workshop, Chester, Arkansas. It's a one-day event, classes throughout the day. They can be found on the socials, on the old Facebook. Uh, March 21st, 22nd. Oh man, we are so close. Uh, Good one, Scotty. Yes, until you get them mad. LOL. Yeah, then it tends to be trouble, doesn't it, Scotty? It does tend to be trouble then. March 21st and 22nd. Man, we are, I think I heard the countdown last night, 27 days, 24 days, something like that. I mean, let me see, 20, and I guess that'd be like 26 days now, 27. Yeah, crazy. Anyway, Okie Homestead Expo, Mays County Fairground, Pryor, Oklahoma. Tickets on sale, $50. It is so close. Man, it's slipping up on us. As I mentioned last night in the shows, ready, but not ready. But that's where that is. So looking forward to seeing everybody there. March 29th, Arkansas Homesteading Conference, Cleveland County Fairgrounds in Rising, Arkansas. Uh, and oh, I got to share this. I'm sorry. This is a good one, David. We fight against powers not of this world, and your spouse is the one who is most intimately equipped to have your back and battle beside you. That is, man, that is beautifully said. I like that. Uh, and there you go. That's exactly what you want. There's supposed to be. Preacher talked yesterday at church, Pastor. Uh, um, and he talked about he read in Genesis, and he read about where they become one flesh and they move on these types of things, right? But he also read later in Genesis where God said it is not good for man to be alone, and let me create him a helpmate. And that's what our spouse is supposed to be. It's not for it is um, they're our helper. We're supposed to walk side by side with each other. They're our helper. We're their help. We're supposed to have that relationship. And yes, that's very well said, David. I appreciate that. Now, Cody, here, this one's for you, Scotty. Here we go. Scott, that's when you tuck tail and run. Hello. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Very well said. But very well said on that. But anyway, so let's pick back up. Where was that? Oh, yeah. April 12th, New Beginnings Homestead Expo, Nowata, Oklahoma. That's going to be there at New Beginnings Church in Nowata on April 12th. It's a one-day event. They've got some speakers lined up, which includes myself and my brother Keith, and our good friend Dwayne Hall, and several others. So that's going to be a good day event there. It's his third event over the last year, and he's going back to the spring. So he thinks that's going to be a better one. We'll see. Looking forward to that. Chris Reeves putting that on, him and his church, and that's a good thing to see the faith community, see the churches getting involved in homesteading and in trying to have people prepared for things on this earth. The Shindig Ozark Living Expo, April 25th, 26th, Newton County Fair and Rodeo in Jasper, Arkansas. That same weekend, the Homestead Conference, Waco, Texas, April 25th and 26th. Joel Salatin's going to be there headlining that one. Adults, $99. Kids, 3 to 17, $13. It's a first-year event. Expect it'll probably go pretty well down there in the old Waco area. And yes, the subject of discussion last night. The 10 Killer YouTube Meetup, April 25th, 26th, 27th, Lake 10 Killer, Oklahoma, at the Cherokee Landing State Park at the Creek Pavilion. And the address, the email, the RSVP, the email, we had the wrong one. It was only one word, but man, it was an important word. The new one is 10 Killer Meetup, 10 Killer YT Meetup at Gmail. So we'll put that right quick. 10 Killer Y. Well, this is a change. And actually, Gmail. What it was, there was some confusion on this address. There we go. But we did through talking with Johnny Gillum and Christine Gillum last night on the meetup. We were able to, and Evelyn Newman, all the people involved, we were able to get it straightened out that there is the email address for the 10 Killer YouTube meetup. They do ask that you RSVP. But that's also an email that you can use if you get any questions in regard to things like park fees or camping or what's available nearby. They do have T-shirt gear available. If you go to Gillum Farms and their bonfire link, which I don't have handy right here, but okay. And Robbie says he guarantees that one works. He used it last night and got a response. So awesome, good deal. So yes, that is confirmed that is the email. So making that correction right now. All right, moving forward, June 6th and 7th, Homestead Festival at Hardison Mills near Columbia, Tennessee. That's on Rory Feek's place. He hosts that huge event. That should be a good one. Ozark Homestead Expo, September 5th and 6th, Marshfield, Missouri. General admission $50, 13 to 17, $15, 12 and under free, but must have a ticket. The lineup is top notch there as well this year. Going to be another good expo. Teeth says get his T-shirt already. So look at you, bro. You own it. And listen, it is cool artwork. I seen the T-shirts. They did some really cool job on the artwork. Mickey from Critter Creek, I think, did that and did a great job. Anyway, our very own Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous at the Southeast Expo Center in McAllister, Oklahoma, September 26th and 27th for $15 at the door. And Homesteaders of America Conference 2020-25 in Front Royal, Virginia, October 10th and 11th. I haven't seen an update, so I'm assuming there's still a few tickets left. But folks, you got to get on them. They were down to the final batch of tickets that they had. It's getting real thin if you want to go to that. So that is the upcoming events that I currently have, and so hope you all enjoy. Get a chance to get out to some of these events, and not only the hanging out with fellow homesteaders and everything, but the information flow and getting to meet some of your favorite YouTube homesteaders. And some of them don't even YouTube. Some of them just are out there. But anyway, it's a chance to get out, vendors, to get things you might need, or find out who sells things, and be a vendor yourself, whatever. But these events are awesome, and it helps promote the community, and it serves as opportunities to get together. Anyway, that is a wrap for today on the Farm2Table Direct Show Morning Edition. Thanks for joining in as we explore headlines, stories, thoughts, lists, all kinds of sort of things that affect our world today and in the future. If you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to hit that like button. Give it the old thumbs up. Share it with your friends on Facebook and YouTube and all them places. Subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. It is the best way to stay connected, help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. Because remember, we are stronger together. That's right. So until next time, keep your roots deep and your vision growing. Good food starts with great people just like you. We are #stronger together, as we've been saying and it's been in the chat. Be a blessing to someone today. And folks, we will see you on the other side. And remember, proud to be an American. Salute that flag when you see it. Stand for the national anthem. But be willing to have a disagreement with somebody civilly if you don't agree with them. God bless you all. Have a great day. And we will see you all tomorrow.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.